WrestleMania 37 is in the books, and it was a spectacular event this year. However, there were a few questionable decisions made by WWE heading into the show of shows this year, and the staff here at Sportskeeda Wrestling feels that the company missed out on some big WrestleMania-worthy matchups. I'm Rick Ucchino. Here are 5 matches that should have happened at WrestleMania 37. Number 5, the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. Now, the New Day defended their Raw Tag Team titles at WrestleMania 37 against AJ Styles and the big man Omos, and the build-up to that match started really only 3 weeks before the event. Meanwhile, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, they were feuding with the Street Profits for months over on SmackDown over those blue brand titles, and yet they missed out on a spot on the Mania card. The SmackDown Tag Team title feud looked certain to culminate at WrestleMania with teams like Alpha Academy and Rey and Dominic Mysterio entering the mix later on. Instead, it all happened on free television in the WrestleMania special edition of SmackDown one day before the event. The Fatal 4-Way was definitely worthy of a WrestleMania spot, and it would have also marked the WrestleMania debut for Dominic Mysterio. Interestingly enough, though, the Dirty Dogs successfully defended the gold against Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins again on SmackDown after WrestleMania, while we still haven't seen the Red Brand's new tag team champions AJ Styles and Omos since WrestleMania. Number 4, Bayley versus literally anyone. One of the biggest shockers of WrestleMania 37 was Bayley not having a marquee match at the event, heck, not even having a match at all after being one of WWE's MVPs during the pandemic era. Bayley was the SmackDown Women's Champion for 379 days before she dropped the title to Sasha Banks at Hell in a Cell last year. Given how important she was to the company throughout 2020, it was definitely surprising that the role model was taken off of TV for weeks in the lead up to WrestleMania 37, before showing up the day of as a pseudo-host alongside Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil. That would be like the Buccaneers benching Tom Brady for the playoffs. You just don't do it. Now, Bayley said herself that she pitched a number of ideas for a match this year, but they were all shot down. Many people, myself included, had a pipe dream that a shock moment featuring a returning Becky Lynch would happen on the grandest stage of them all, but the man coming back 4 months postpartum would be asking a lot. Instead, the WWE Universe was treated to a moment between Bayley and the Bella Twins, and while it's always nice to see the Hall of Famers, Bayley deserved something a bit bigger this year. At the very least, a match against, like I said, anyone. Number 3, Drew McIntyre against Sheamus. The Scottish Warrior has essentially carried Monday Night Raw on his back for the past year or so and has arguably been one of the best WWE champions in years. He had 2 reigns with the title and rightfully challenged for it again on night 1 at WrestleMania 37. While he does deserve that spot, Sheamus has also been having a fantastic run on Raw this year, and a match against McIntyre at WrestleMania could have been one of the best on the show. Instead, they concluded their feud at Fastlane, with both men going in different directions. Leading up to Elimination Chamber, Sheamus suddenly turned on Drew McIntyre, and it seemed like a WWE Championship match between the two would have happened very soon. If not, Bobby Lashley, Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre for the top prize in the company would have been one of the marquee matches at the event. Instead, a Fastlane. Although McIntyre wasn't successful in reclaiming the WWE Championship, Sheamus did defeat Matt Riddle on night 2 of WrestleMania to capture his 3rd United States Championship in what was a great match in its own right. Plus, the Almighty era, that's going to continue in WWE, because if anybody else deserves that title on Raw right now, other than Drew McIntyre, it is Lashley. Speaking of which, number 2, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Maybe chalk this one up as another pipe dream, but when Bobby Lashley won the WWE title from The Miz right at the start of March, many had hoped that a dream encounter against the Beast would be in the cards. Unfortunately, WWE decided not to bring back Lesnar, or it very well could have been the opposite, with Lesnar choosing not to come back during the pandemic era. Either way, the Beast missed out on WrestleMania for the first time since his return to the company in 2012. It's a shame, too, because this is a match that many have wanted to see for a very long time now, and it would have been one of the biggest WrestleMania main events that WWE could have presented. Lashley has been very vocal as well that he returned to the company in 2018 to face Brock Lesnar, and his wait continues. And finally, number 1, AJ Styles against Triple H. Now, we're not sure when the game is going to decide to ultimately step away from in-ring competition for good. When talking to ESPN in 2020, Triple H said that he was glad to be missing out on WrestleMania 36, calling himself a full-time office guy. But the game has expressed some interest in a bit of a retirement tour, but not necessarily having a match at WrestleMania. It does make sense that Triple H would want to take a step back, especially given the work that he's put in over on NXT. WWE. The game has helped put over a few superstars in the last few years, but if he were in a short-term program, AJ Styles would have been a great opponent at WrestleMania 37. Much like last year, getting to see the Phenom against the Phenomenal One, Triple H versus AJ Styles would have been a match for fans to check off the bucket list. And that is our list this time around. Make sure to give us the old thumbs up there. Also, make sure to subscribe to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel for more content like this, plus exclusive interviews and more.